Hello, everyone. Good afternoon or good evening. Hopefully, you can all hear and see me okay. If you can't, for whatever reason, please do refresh the browser. There might be some technical issues, but hopefully, you can all hear me and see me. Thank you for joining this Your Overseas Home webinar. My name's Seb, and I'm one of the account managers over here at Your Overseas Home. It's great to have you all with us, whether you are watching live or you are catching up on demand. Today we're chatting with Helen, who is a sales manager over at Cyprus Emerald. We've been working with Helen and her team for a number of years now, and she has been great and invaluable to our clients, helping many of them in similar positions as yourselves buy property overseas, but also to rent those properties overseas. The topic of this webinar is all around buying and investing in property in Cyprus and the rental side of things. So throughout the whole session, we do invite you to ask your questions throughout as we go along. The bottom right-hand side of your screen, there's a chat function or questions function. If you click on there, type in your questions, Helen and myself will then get round to answering hopefully as many of them as we can today. If we don't get around to answering questions, fear not. We will be passing over your details to Helen and the team at Cyprus Emerald. And we also will post Helen's contact details at the end of the session so you can contact one another and obviously go through your requirements in a bit more detail. Before we get started, Helen, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here. Would you mind just having a brief introduction to yourself and share with our viewers, what Cyprus Emerald actually does and how you can help them?
Okay, hello. So thank you, Seth, for the wonderful introduction. I'm Helen from Cyprus Emerald. Cyprus Emerald is a real estate agency with a very good team of qualified professionals with more than 20 years of experience in real estate agency. We are here to help you select the right property for you. And also we stay with you throughout the process. We have an after sales department that's going to make sure that all the sales process is going to go smoothly and it's going to end in transferring the property to you. And then we have a customer service department that is going to help you with the nice, choose your furniture, bring your things over help you with everything. We also have, because we will talk about rentals, property rentals, so people that they are, looking for investments. We have we cooperate with an independent property investment advisor that is helping our clients do the best with their, money that they want to invest in properties in Cyprus. So that's more or less about us.
Okay, thanks, Helen. Obviously, as I mentioned, I know exactly how much you've been helping our clients. I know it's great to get a bit more perspective for everyone listening in about exactly how that you could potentially be helping them with their journeys. We have some questions around Cyprus and in a bit more detail, exactly focusing on Cyprus Emerald. But the first question that I have, Helen, is I suppose Cyprus itself. I've been lucky enough to be in once when I was younger on holiday with my family, and I loved it. But I mean, I suppose for the audience, why is Cyprus such a good choice for a property investment at the moment?
It's like Cyprus has a very attractive tax system for the real estate property investments. We have no property taxes. Council taxes are really low. Cost of living is lower than in most of the countries. Also, for how many years now? For the last 10 years, you can say we have a very, very good and healthy economic growth as country. And politically, we're stable. We have a political stability. We are a democratic country. an EU country. And also recently, actually, which is very important for us as well, we have fulfilled the last requirement to actually join the Schengen zone, and we're waiting now on an approval. So there's many good things going on, and property values, they go higher, and also the rental yield it goes higher. And you can find all this information on the internet, and also on RICS, that they issue the quarterly updates. You can see everything there, so they can confirm what I'm saying.
Sure. Wow. Yeah, great, Helen. You said not to mention the weather as well. I'm looking out here in
of
in
course.
London. It's just started raining, so I'm sure some of the viewers here are probably experiencing similar weather. I thought I'd just highlight that as well. But no, I mean, as you say, it's a really good time to be investing in Cyprus. We've been tracking it from our side as well. Rental yield, property price increases are looking pretty strong, and it's forecasted to continue. So thanks for obviously giving us a bit more insight from your side. The next question is around, I suppose, the rental side of things. Would it be possible for a UK resident? I know since Brexit there's been quite a lot of change, but would it be possible for a UK resident without an EU passport? Would it be possible for them to rent out their property in Cyprus?
Yes, it would be possible. The legislation, it's a lot of years, it's quite a few years that it has changed that. And unfortunately, if you Google that question, you still find the old information as a new information. And that's why I understand we have, and also we have lots of questions like that from our clients. There is no problem whatsoever from any UK resident, that non-EU person, to buy a property in Cyprus and put it for rentals. And it can be short-term or it can be long-term. You do not have to be EU. You do not have to have a residency in Cyprus in order to do that. You can be a resident, you can be a non-resident, EU, third country. You can still buy a property and put it for any type of rental you wish.
Okay, brilliant. No, that's very clear. I know, say here at Your Overseas Home, we're still receiving a lot of inquiries or questions or queries around Brexit and the implications it's had, and it's great to understand that UK buyers, if they were to invest in Cyprus, they still be able to do that. So thanks for the answers on that one. In regards to, I suppose, the financial side of things, I know you mentioned you can get great value properties. There's also the cost of living is somewhat cheaper over in Cyprus. But in regards to the VAT, what are the VAT rules related to property investments in Cyprus for non-residents? Is there any difference at all?
No, there's not a difference. Either you can be a Cypriot, you can be a Greek or a UK person. The rules are the same. Now, for older properties, resale properties, there's no VAT. For the new builds or off-plan bought and built properties, that there is a VAT. If you want to use that property to rent it out, the VAT that you pay, it has to be the full VAT, which is 19%, 19. I have to say something really important though at that moment. Many people might think, 19, it's a lot. Yes, however, when you rent out your property, you take back that VAT. You don't take it back immediately, but when you rent it, because on the rent that you're receiving, you pay VAT to the government, you have returns or that. So eventually that VAT comes back. When, let's say, if you buy a property to reside yourself and you use it as a personal, you're not going to rent, the VAT is 5%, you never get that back. The 19%, you will get it back eventually.
Okay, all right, brilliant. So yeah, it's so it really is truly an investment with that, and so it's good to get an understanding about the longevity of and returns from VAT rules in Cyprus. I wasn't aware of that, so thanks a lot, Helen. I mean, what other taxes, if any, should the viewers be perhaps aware of if they were looking to invest in Cyprus?
Mhm. Okay. As a property owner, you pay, as I said, there's no property tax, nothing. Then you have the council taxes that they can be from 150 euros to 600 euros per year. Per year. That depends on the type of property, the size, and the municipality. Now, and there's also something like sewage tax and stuff like that, around 0.5 or 3% maximum for very, very big and luxurious properties per year. So you understand they're quite low. Now, when you're renting your property, okay, there are some other taxes. The income that you're receiving from renting a property in Cyprus is taxed in Cyprus, right? Because Cyprus has tax agreements with the UK and other countries, of course, but we're more focused in the UK market now. You're not going to be taxed double. Okay, so you pay your tax here, and then, I mean, it depends on your income in England. In the UK, if you have something else, you get paid tax there. The difference, that's okay. Now, taxes here in Cyprus, they're quite low. Until 19,500 per year, it's tax-free, the income. And then from that point, you pay 20%, 30%, with maximum 35% for any annual income that it's 60,000 plus. So you can understand there's not a lot, the taxes. Now, from the rent that you will collect, you need to pay, if you are a resident, a permanent resident of Cyprus, you pay two taxes that are very small: the defense tax and the health tax. It's called the SE tax. If you're non-resident, you pay only the health tax. We're talking about the defense tax, 3% on the 75% of the rent, not the whole thing, and the health tax is 2.65. Now, and that's all. And because you have a lot of deductions as well, let's say now you're renting your property out and you have it in a property management company. You pay that property management company. That fee comes out of your income, so it's deducted. Also, any maintenance you will be doing, because yearly you do maintenance at your job, at your property. So these maintenance costs, they are deductible. So at the end, the income from that property that you will be receiving is going to be that much minus this, minus this, minus this, and it's that. So it's a really good system. It's a fair system, and it's a good system, and it's quite profitable.
Okay. Brilliant. No, that's very comprehensive, Helen. There's a lot of different components there that if I was looking to do it, I would love to be working with you, because it does feel like there's a lot to think about when buying a property or buying an investment property here in the UK, let alone overseas in Cyprus. So yeah, the knowledge that you're helping out with is very, very useful for everyone. So thank you. I suppose looking at the processes or the journey of buying property in Cyprus, if I was perhaps thinking about investing my money in Cyprus in a property, and I wanted to start working with Cyprus Emerald, how does it kind of work? Do I contact you very early in my search, or do I have a look first and find a property? Sort of how would I go about it all?
It's good to do it a little bit early than when you're ready. Let's say we have some people that actually this morning when I came into this office, it was like a lovely couple, UK couple. They come 18 years in Cyprus and they want now to buy and, retire here. They will do that in 2 years' time. The gentleman was 58 years old, and at 60, he would take his pension. Now, he came, he asked questions about residency, about, all these things. And next year, when he will come, so it's going to be 1 year before he's ready to buy. He's gonna come here. We're gonna do an aerial tour. We're gonna, he's gonna, because some people, they know just the sea, when the coastal areas. We're gonna make an area tour. We're gonna see some type of properties that they might be good for him. He's gonna check the prices, so he's gonna have an idea. And then when he's ready, of course, any properties he's going to see a year before, maybe they're not available, but he will know in which area he would choose. So he's not going to be, he knows he's looking at this or that area for that or that type of property, more or less on that budget. So when he's ready, half of the job is done. So it's better like this, we would say, and it's the same for, of course, the rental properties, all that. We would advise something like this.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that completely aligns to what the team here at Your Overseas Home, recommends. If you're looking to purchase a property, the more time you have, the better, really. Just to kind of highlight as well, the questions that you've already answered, Helen, are obviously very important for clients to know before perhaps finding their dream property and realizing, there's tax involved and there's all these other potential financial considerations. So, you say the more time you have, the better. You say get everything lined up. The properties may not be there, but at least you're in a good position to know the process and the implications and things like that. So that's great. I mean, in regards to once you do find, let's say, a rental investment property, would there be any sort of other services or contacts that I should be aware of or be speaking to, like lawyers or accountants? Is there anyone else involved in the process?
Yeah, it's like if you buy a property and you put it for rent, either it's going to be long term or short term. That depends on the property, okay, on the location, the type of property and stuff. We would recommend, our professional opinion is, for a lawyer to make the rental contract if it's a long-term thing, because it's going to be the right contract. Now, if you're buying a property, you have a lawyer already. So he's going to do that. You buy the property, he's doing the process, and then he's putting the rental contract in as well. And then an accountant to take care of all these taxes. I mean, it's not going to be a great expense, and you're doing everything right. You put everything through the tax offices, all the taxes are paid, and everything is good. Now, we would also recommend a property management company. A property management company is going to make sure that if it's for long term, they find the right tenant, they screen the tenant, they inspect the property, they make sure everything is running smoothly. If something goes wrong, they're the point of contact and not the owner, who's not going to even be here in the country. But even if he is, it's going to be better for the professionals to deal with all that. And they make sure that the rent is collected and everything. For short-term holiday rents, we believe it's absolutely necessary to have a professional to deal with that. It's very complicated. It's not easy. Their job is to maximize their profit, so they do the best for the rental platforms, holiday platforms, to have your property all the time full, make the best services, so you have the best ratings in the platforms. So we would, apart from a lawyer and an accountant, we would say a property management company. It's absolutely necessary.
Yeah, thanks. I think say if I was to buy a property and I was renting out and I wasn't even in the country, it's so important to have that contact there on the ground, but also you've got people coming and going on a fairly regular basis. So yeah, it's a very good point around property management. I presume that you have recommendations of property managers that you work with. Okay, brilliant. So it's leading on from that. You mentioned the tenants actually living in the properties. If I was renting out my property in Cyprus, what kind of lease durations could I actually offer? I know you mentioned short term, perhaps longer term. Is there a minimum, maximum at all?
For the long term, it has to be a yearly contract. Only if you have a yearly contract, it's concerned long term. And then you have to deposit that rental contract to the tax offices and stuff. And then you have short term or holiday lets. That it can be for a week, a weekend, a month, a couple of months, all that. It's considered short term or holiday lets.
Okay, all right, brilliant. And I suppose just go on that point as well. Is there any different? I'm just kind of backtracking a little bit here, Helen. Is there any different financial implications from short-term lets to longer-term lets that are over a year?
If you put it for short-term holiday lets, you need a special license. You need to be registered in the Cyprus Tourist Organization. If you have a property management company, they take care of that. The cost is very, very low. It's 222 euros. Don't ask me why it's 22 and not 20. I don't know. And it's for 3 years valid, actually. That makes you have to, put all your certificates in that, you have like a insurance for, fire and theft and liability, for third party, all that, that you have some, smoke detectors and things like this. And they give you a license with a registration number, and that registration number will appear in all the rental platforms. As I said, anybody can do that themselves or through the lawyer, but if you have a property management company, they will do that for you. You don't need to worry about that. That's basic. There isn't anything else.
Okay, all right, great. No, I suppose that covers everything. Gary's actually asked here. I know there's a few, given the day and age since COVID, there's been a shift online for a lot of things such as this. But in regards to the investors themselves, would you offer perhaps remote viewings or viewings via video?
Yes. It's like, actually, this is one good thing from COVID. We all learned to Zoom. We all learned this communication, which is actually a very good one. Now, many times, our clients, potential buyers, they have questions like this on rentals, on investments, on residencies. Instead of exchanging lengthy, boring emails or just pick up the phone and talk, it's not good. We do this. We arrange first a Zoom call. We get to know each other. We communicate. And then we definitely do remote viewings through this, where normally like 2 of us, even before we even go to the property, we drive through, so you can see the area, so you can see what's there, so you can see what's close, you can see the neighborhood, you can see the outside building, because sometimes they just view the inside of a property. It looks fantastic, fabulous. And then you go, the building is not nice, or the area is not nice, or very remotely. So we can, of course, we do all that. Yeah. And we had actually a lot of sales during COVID by doing this.
Yeah, I know you helped some of our clients during that time, but it's great that we can still have the ability to communicate and see each other as we do. It's one of the positives that have come out of COVID. If I know you mentioned there, having calls such as this, and every client's plans are unique, and it's important for you to get a good idea about what they're actually looking for. Let's say everything goes well, you find that the perfect property for them remotely without the client being over there in Cyprus. Would that client actually be able to purchase that property remotely, or would you advise them to come across and have a look in person? I mean, what would the process be?
It's like they can do the whole process remotely through the power of attorney that they would give to their lawyer. Their lawyer would be in touch and inform them at any stage, and us as well. So If they don't want to, if they don't need to, if they're happy with the remote viewing, they don't have to come. And even if, I have to say, even if we have, because we have the ready properties and we have the properties that they're not ready yet, that they're off plan or they're busy building, on constructing. Even in these cases where we're close to them, the lawyer will give them reports. We're going to give them reports. We're going to send them videos. We're going to send them photographs. We're going to send them progress, what we call progress reports. So they will know exactly what's going on at each stage, where their money go, because on the new builds and plots and builds, you don't pay all the money up front. You pay percentage according to the contract that you have. So everybody is informed. They don't have to come here if they don't want to.
Okay, great. So yeah, I suppose you'll be holding their hands, sorry, throughout the whole process, making sure they know what's happening, giving them updates if it's a new build or an off-plan property, especially, which is so important. Because if it was me, I'd like to know what would be going on, step by step. One last point around that. Let's say I was investing in a property. Would it be possible to invest in more than one property, or would I only be allowed to invest in one? Is there a limit at all, Helen?
If you buy it as an individual, you can buy up to 2 properties. Mm-hmm. If you're buying it through a company, because we have a lot of people, bigger investors, that they are making a company in Cyprus, and then they're buying the properties through that company, then you don't have the limit of the 2 properties. It's different.
Okay. All right, but I didn't know that. So yeah, thanks. Thanks, Gary, for the question, and Helen for the answer. We have another question here, Helen. It's from Samer, who asks around the resale. If they say they invested in the property and then resold it, is there going to be any government tax or other tax that will be added on to that resale property that perhaps we don't know about?
If they buy a property and then they sell it?
Yeah, so they buy it as an investment, to rent it out, and then they sold it, in a year's time or 2 years' time. Would there be any government tax attached to that sale?
It's like it depends, and that's the accountant will say to them, because it depends on how much they bought it. Okay, mm-hmm. They bought it at that amount of money, and then they're selling it back at that amount. It depends on the market at that moment, how much profit they've done. So it's called capital gains tax. So that actually depends at the time. And only an accountant would say it can be up to 22%. 20%, but it depends. It depends on how much profit they've done on selling the property. Before they sell, or when they will be ready to sell, they will contact their accountant, and he's going to advise them on how to do it and what to do. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks, Helen, and Samir for the question. So it would probably be very worthwhile to have a conversation one-on-one with Helen to kind of go through potentially what you're looking to do and how Cyprus Emerald and the team can help you on your journey. Just a couple more questions, because we've got some moments left here, Helen. I suppose around the actual island itself. Obviously, there's different areas for different people, and kind of whatever those people are looking to invest in and live in. At the moment, I mean, what are the areas which are very attractive towards investment? Is there anywhere areas where you perhaps wouldn't advise investing in Cyprus? What does it look like for the island?
Like all the areas of Cyprus, they're good for an investment. It depends on the person's budget and on the person's personal preferences. Okay, so if, let's say, you like Paphos, buy in Paphos, because eventually, you buy to put it for rental, for holiday rentals, you will be coming, or your family will be coming visit there. So you would like to be in an area that you like. And then maybe if you're considering of relocating or retiring in the area, you would like to be in the area of your preference. If we could say at the moment that there is an area with a very big growth, and that it can bring at the moment a very good like rental yield, and as an investment, we would suggest Larnaca. Actually, Larnaca is going through now what Limassol was going like around 10 years ago. A marina is being built, very, very big projects, universities, big luxurious hotels. So at the moment, the best area to invest is Larnaca. To buy a property that the value of that property is going to go up, and also if you buy a property to rent, rentals are very high at the moment and go only higher. So that is, all areas are good according to your personal choice and preference and your budget. But as a purely investment, if you look at something at the moment, we would say it's Larnaca.
Great. All right. Thanks, Helen. Say just on that note, just kind of going back a couple of steps, and you said, arranging those, those one-on-one conversations or calls with potential investors or property buyers, to get an idea about, what they're looking for, what kind of areas they're interested in, is so, so important. So, if our listeners here are thinking about, making the jump or the step over to Cyprus, please do, speak to Helen and the team at Cyprus Emerald, go through those requirements, lean on them as much as possible, as I know they are very helpful, and they have been throughout the whole partnership with us. So so thanks a lot, Helen, obviously, for all of your knowledge and your assistance so far. That's all we've kind of got time for this afternoon. As mentioned, what we'll do, Helen, is we'll put your contact details at the end of this webinar to all of the clients, and pass over the details. We also will hold this session on demand on our website. So if there's any viewers here that have any family members, family friends, colleagues that perhaps would be interested in this, please do point them in the direction of Your Overseas Home website. And Helen, finally, obviously, thank you to you so much. As always, you've been fantastic, covering off some really good points and questions. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And please do get in touch with the rest of the clients as and when we pass them across. Thanks, Helen. We'll leave you to the evening, and we'll catch up soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all for watching. And please ask us any questions you have, ask us, and we're here for you.
Okay. Thanks, Helen. Take care. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.